In this video, we're going to cover solving systems of linear equations. I'm going to start with this one with two equations and two variables. Now, I'm going to do one problem with substitution and the other two with elimination, and then I am also going to pull up my calculator and show you how to use a matrix. So for the first one, let's go ahead and do substitution. Now, I like to number my equations just to kind of keep track. So for substitution, we solve one equation for one variable. It does not matter which equation and which variable. Always do whichever one looks easiest. So here, I'm going to say let's solve that first equation, and let's solve it for x, because that x has a 1 coefficient, which makes it easy to solve for. And I get that x is 7y minus 26. And you'll notice I'm still labeling that as equation 1. I've written it in a different form, but it is still equation 1. So then, let's plug that into the other equation, so equation 2. So instead of putting x, let's put in 7y minus 26, and we are of course putting parentheses there, because I'm about to have to distribute. And then I've also got everything else. With both of these techniques, my goal is to get an equation with just one variable, because that is now something I should be able to solve and get an actual number out. So let's go ahead and solve. Let's distribute to get negative 21y plus 78 minus 8y. Adding up negative 21 and negative 8, I get negative 29. So let's subtract 78. Which gets me 116. Oops, negative. And then if we divide that by 29, I do get a nice number here. I get that y is 4. Now, as a reminder for these, we do need to find both of the variables, not just one of them. So there's my y. To find x, I've got this equation right here. So x is 7 times 4 minus 26. So it looks like I get 2 for x. And as a general way of expressing the answer, we will write it as an ordered pair, so the x value first and the y value second. Now, let's go ahead and look at how to do that with a matrix on our calculator. So the matrix menu is above this x negative 1. So I'm going to hit second, x negative 1 to bring up my matrix menu. And I'm going to start by going to edit. You'll notice I've got two of them here. I'm going to go ahead and just edit this first one. So a matrix is an array of numbers between square brackets. And you'll notice we do also need the size. So here, the matrix is basically just the numbers. However, we have to have it in a specific form. We have to have the x first, we have to have the y second, and then the number that's by itself, so no variable, has to be on the other side. Now that is how all of these are expressed. So my matrix here would be 1, negative 7, negative 26, and then negative 3, negative 8, negative 38. And we have 2 rows and 3 columns, so I would say that this is a 2 by 3 matrix. So you'll notice I've already got those dimensions, but I can easily hit 2, enter, and 3, enter to change that if I need to. Now you can use your up, down, left, and right keys to move through the matrix, but if I hit 1 and then enter, my calculator will automatically take me across just to help make sure I've got that entered correctly. So negative 7, negative 26, negative 3, negative 8, and negative 38. And I always encourage students, pause, make sure you've typed all those numbers in correctly, because if you haven't, we are going to get the wrong answer. So I've got my values. This is where it's a little annoying. I have to hit second mode to quit and get back to my main entry window here. At which point I am going to go straight back into my matrix menu and go to where it says math. So this is my little math submenu. and I'm going to scroll down to where it says RREF. Do note there's one that just says REF. Those are two different things. We want RREF. That stands for Reduce Row Echelon Form. And it's option B on my calculator. So let's select that. You'll notice it appears in my main command prompt window. And then I'm going to go to that matrix menu a third and final time. Since it was matrix A that I edited, let's hit enter to select matrix A, and then hit enter again. Now, my left-hand side here should always be what's called the identity matrix. So in other words, it's going to be 1 and 0, and then 0 and 1. The important thing is this rightmost row. So this final row, you'll notice, is 2 and 4. That first one is always going to be the x1, and the second one is always going to be the y. And yes, I do get the exact same thing. All right, so by hand, I did the first one with substitution. Let me go ahead and do elimination for the second and third, which is also sometimes called addition. Now for elimination, we need to have opposite coefficients for one of the variables. For this one, I already have opposite coefficients for y. I'm going to have to make an edit to the next one. That's why we're doing this one first. But basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add those two equations together. Let's scooch over here just a little bit. So adding them, 4x plus 3x is 7x. The y's go to 0. It is eliminated. That's why we call it elimination. And then 9 plus 12 is 21. So again, for both techniques, my goal is to get it so that one of the variables cancels out. Because at this point, I should be able to solve and get a number. Now, I found my x, I still need to find y. You can plug it into either equation. I'm going to go ahead and use the second one, just because that's got a positive y, but it really doesn't matter which one you plug into. So I'm just going to put 2 here to tell you where I'm plugging that in. And I am going to have to do just a little bit of algebra here to get that y is also 3. All right, let's go ahead and go through the calculator process again. So again, I'm going to hit second x negative 1 to get the matrix, go to edit, and again I'm going to edit matrix A, so hit enter. It's still a 2 by 3, so enter and enter. Now again, these are in the correct form, so those are my numbers. So I'm going to need 4, negative 1, and 9, and then 3, 1, and 12. And again, always double check, make sure we've got that typed in correctly. Then second mode to quit, second x negative 1 to get back to my matrix menu, go to the math submenu, and scroll all the way down to RREF, and hit enter, and then go to my matrix menu a third time, and again, since I did matrix A, let's select matrix A, and once again, it's this rightmost column that I'm looking at, which is 3, 3, so I did get the correct answer. Let's do one more with elimination. Now this time, I don't have opposite coefficients for any of my variables. Now, I'm going to eliminate y, just because one's positive and one's negative, but it's going to be about the same amount of difficulty either way. So I need to have opposite coefficients. So I'm going to take number 1, and I'm going to multiply that by 3, and I'm going to take number 2 and multiply it by 5. You can almost think I'm multiplying it by the other coefficient. Because if I multiply this by 3, I'll get negative 15. And if I multiply the second one by 5, I'll get positive 15, which means it will add to 0. So here I do have to plan it out a little bit. I can't just go into this blindly. So multiplying 1 by 3, I'm going to get 6x, I apologize, 6x minus 15y is 9. And then multiplying the second one by 5, I'm going to get 35x plus 15y equals 155. At which point, Let's add them together. And again, the y's are going to cancel out. That's what I want it to have happen. I'll get 41x. And then 164 on the other side. So again, I've got an equation with just the one variable, so I should be able to solve that nicely, and I get that x is 4. Now again, to find the other equation, you can plug it into either one. I'm going to go ahead and use the first one this time, so let's plug it into that first equation. So I get 2 times 4 minus 5y is 3. And again, I am going to have to do just a little bit of algebra here. And it looks like y is positive 1. So my final answer there is 4, 1. And let's do one more check with the calculator. So go to the matrix menu, go to Edit. I've got a 2 by 3. My coefficients are 2, -5, and 3. And then 7, 3, and 31. And then go back to my matrix menu, go to Math, scroll down to RREF, and then go to the matrix menu a third time and select matrix A. Again, it's this rightmost column, which is 4, 1, which is the same thing. So this is solving using substitution, using elimination, and then also using a matrix on our graphing calculator.